At this time, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Nashville Town Council. The pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Father, we invite you into our meeting to give us wisdom and guidance in making the best decisions for this town of Nashville.
Amen.
Amen. The first item on our agenda is the approval of minutes. So for our June 18th, 2024 meeting, so in reading those, did you find any corrections that needed to be made?
Mayor, seeing none, I move to approve.
Do I hear a
Accept.
second?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, at this time, we will have our public comments, but before we do that, I'd like to share some items that are in our public comment policy, which we'll be voting on some corrections and additions to it tonight. But I wanted to remind you that persons who wish to address the council during the public comment period will register on a sign-up sheet located right over here at the podium. The speakers will provide contact information and the topic of their comments on the sign-up sheet. Sign-up sheets will be available 20 minutes before the start of the meeting. No one will be allowed to have their name placed on the list by telephone or email request to the town staff. If a person arrives after public comment has begun and desires to address the council, they may do so after those who have signed up have addressed the council, assuming there is time. Public comment is not intended to require the council to answer impromptu questions. Speakers will address all comments to the council as a whole and not to one individual council member. Discussions between speakers and members of the audience will not be allowed. Discussions between speakers and members of the council, as I said, would not be allowed. However, the council reserves the right to ask questions of anyone that is speaking if they need clarification, as they have signed in to speak. Speakers shall be courteous in their language and presentation and must be respectful in their remarks, refraining from personal attacks and the use of profanity. So at this time, we'll move on. You have 3 minutes. As I call your name, come up, state your name and your address. Jamila Dory. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Get it so we can hear you.
Okay. Is this good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Jamila Derry, and we're from RJ Snacks. We're located at 111 West Cross Street in Nashville. I'm here tonight to share with you a disappointment regarding actions of leadership.
Randy, would you help her with that mic, please?
Sorry.
Bring it down for her.
I've always had this problem. Okay. Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Is that good? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
Thank you.
So, like I was saying, I'm here tonight to share with you a disappointment regarding actions of leadership that we've had before. So back in February 12th, we began a process to purchase a church property here located on Old White Oak Road in Nashville. And the town manager and mayor knew of our plans due to several visits and conversations beginning and throughout, with our journey. And I even shared with them, we shared with them the seller's asking price for the property and all of that. Basically, the last conversation with the town manager was to inquire about the property and in process of finalizing prices. So we reached out to the seller and was told that he received an offer from the town. I was extremely surprised because the mayor was on a warehouse 1 hour before we reached out to the seller. We discussed the church with her as well. The mayor told him that he is not allowed to discuss anything dealing with with selling the church for anyone. I believe it was about like 60 days or so. Even like if their inquiry was slightly before ours, I feel that our disappointment is where this comes from. I feel that the town leader should have either been upfront with us regarding their interest, but even more so, allowed a local business the opportunity to explore for growth rather than making an offer knowing a local business was in the process of negotiating the purchase. At some point during our many conversations with disclosing our plans, there should have been a better transparency from the management. I feel, due to the mayor and town manager knowing our ambitions and the amount, the rug was literally pulled from right under our feet. The reason we were searching for the property at this time was because the town did not provide what they had promised for us. We are a local business owner here in Nashville who would have changed that property into a revenue-generating, job-creating facility for the town of Nashville. And I'm disappointed our local government squashed that possibility while knowing the details of our plans and offer. I would hope our town leadership would care more about the future of this town and our children's future as well. So another reason we're here is because we care about the town, the great people we have met thus far in this town. So I'm sharing an unfortunate experience to better hope for it to have a better future with this. And it was an unfortunate experience that we've had with the town manager for miscommunication with the council, along with mayor with misleading information. Thank you.
Thank you. Maureen Peacock.
Good evening,
Good
Mayor
evening.
and Town Council. Thank you for letting me speak. Maureen Willis Peacock, 1108 Birchwood Drive, Nashville. I'm actually here to speak and to encourage you to continue to further approve as you discuss and review the property at 969 White Oak Road, that facility. As you can see, as the town council and the audience, we are have growing pains. So we have a lot of activity going on. We have young families moving in that need opportunities for exercise like pickleball. And at that property on 969 Old White Oak Road, there's a gymnasium there that will serve for children, maybe after school programs. We have there's lots of parking there that can be turned into outdoor pickleball courts as well. Right now, a lot of people are going to Red Oak, to Rocky Mount, and Wilson has 30 courts right now. So they're doing pickleball conferences, and it's just not pickleball, but tennis and things like that. And so we want to continue to provide opportunities for our incredible town to have activities here for the families as well. I know we have one tennis court behind Taco Bell, and we have one pickleball court going in the new rec building, but we need a lot more than that. So I want to encourage you for a 23,000 square foot facility, so that when we are expanding and you need more offices because you need more employees, you will have that space. So I understand that that deal is in negotiations. I could be wrong on that, but I just want to encourage the town to really look at that property and notice what it can do in the near future. 5 to 10 years out, we're going to need that space. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Michael Johnson.
Hello, Mayor, Town Council. Hope you're doing well tonight. My name is Michael Johnson. My address in Nashville is 822 South Creek Drive, Nashville. I am the pastor of Fellowship Church, so I'm here to talk about Fellowship Church. But let me clear something up. The gentleman that I did talk with, the gentleman and his wife, I did have conversations with them before, or kind of about the same time as the town council. But the thing is, they gave me a couple of prices, but we never verbally agreed or had anything legally written down. So what happened is I can remember the day it happened. It was on a Friday afternoon. We had talked that week, and we had talked, and I had also talked with I think it was Mr. Lansing. So what happened is I'm at lunch that day at Oak Level Cafe. It's on a Friday. That I had told him that week, I said, or that earlier that week, I said he was looking into getting financing to possibly purchase the building from a bank here in town. And I said, fine, I'll show it to you if that following Monday. Bear in mind, no verbal agreement yet on anything, nothing written down. I got a call from Mr. Lansing, and I met with Mr. Lansing and Mayor Brown, and Mayor Lansing took me over the agreement of everything that was, and formally gave us the deal. He said 1.5 million. That's the first deal that I verbally and legally wrote my name down to. So I just want that understanding. I think everybody was well-intentioned, but just to clarify that, with them, there was never any verbal agreement nor written agreement. And so if you don't have a verbal or a written agreement, even if you have a verbal, I believe in keeping your word, but if you don't have anything legal, am I right in saying it's not legal? So I just want to say that I'm willing to sell it to anybody with a good price. The town offered it to us at 1.5 million. I've recently even negotiated something with Mr. Lansing. I met with him last Thursday. And even at this point, from what I understand, there's not a consensus on to still purchase it. So I don't really quite understand, but I'll be flexible depending on what you come up with tonight. I will say this. I'm willing to sell it. I want to sell it at a good price. I want to be fair to the town, and I can negotiate. But that church is 47 years old. My dad pastored that thing until he died 2 years ago. I became the pastor in 2007. That's the people's money. I won't get a dime out of it. If we sell it to the town or whoever we sell it to, that money will go in a treasury. I don't know what we'll do with it, but it'll be a safe, secure place. Maybe some of it interest-bearing. And our goal is to eventually take the proceeds from it and build another gym on the same property. I think I said in one of the last meetings, or the first meeting that we had, that was my dad's vision. I want to keep that vision, and hopefully that'll happen one day. That's part of our plan. So I can't go but so low. I can come off, but I can't go but so low. So
Thank you so very much, Michael.
Can I ask, Mayor?
Yes.
May I ask a question for clarity? Mike, if you could just come back up.
I'm sorry.
So what you were describing with a signing of a contract that day, I believe there was negotiations that were occurring several months prior to. When you
Right.
first spoke with the mayor,
It was.
was it
Right.
him reaching out to you?
Right. Okay, you can jog my memory now. All I was saying was, I think we talked like in November, December. I remember every council member except Mr. Taylor came out to see the facility. And I remember you came out. So thank you for jogging my memory. There was talks. What I was saying was there was talks with you. I can't remember who in here. I just remember that one day, that one week, because that's when we met. And that's the first offer I got that was saying what I thought it was very fair, very good. And so I went and talked with my board members that weekend, and we settled on it the next week. And of course, at the first meeting, what happened, we agreed on a 60-day contract. We renegotiated at 90. And so we actually waited about a month before the 60 days. So now we're at 120 days. So that's why I said what I did. I didn't mean anything by it, but I was thinking, wow, I thought we'd have a decision by now. But I understand we probably don't. But hopefully we will. But you can work out. I've talked with Mr. Lansing about possible things to do. And if he wants to bring that up later on, and you want to, however you talk about it tonight.
Okay, thank you, Michael. The next person is Sarah Hinton.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Hinton. I live at 104 Nassau Court in Nashville, and I've been living in Nashville since 1981. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to let the citizens go in and visit this church property. I've lived here for many decades, as you just heard, and have never been inside the building. So I appreciate the chance to go. And since there weren't so many that went, I feel somewhat obligated to give you some feedback because I guess that's why you allowed us to go in. Excuse me. I was very impressed with this property. In fact, I was amazed, so to speak. It's almost like they just moved out yesterday. And there's so much potential there, I think, for the town and for its citizens. And, you know, we have a nice town office, and I go in there occasionally to pay a water bill or something, but how nice would it be to have this large facility that could be a hub for activity, not just for the people that we hire to manage our town, but for the citizens. It could really offer so much. So I want to encourage you as the town council to further investigate if you need to. I know you know all about the appraisal numbers, the financials, which I don't have. I'm not privy to that. I'm just speaking as a citizen. But the property has so many things going for it. It's got a lot of space. Some of these have already been mentioned, so I won't go through my list of 13 things. I probably don't have time. But lots of space for now and future growth. Newly paved, large parking area, and we all have heard how much it costs to pave a big parking lot with asphalt. 2 covered drive-throughs, lots of storage space, both inside the building as well as outside the building. The gym is a gym, G-E-M, because that would offer so many opportunities for program offerings. Plenty of storage space, I've already said, a large kitchen, fully equipped. A lot of furniture and large games for teenagers that are being left in there, a furnished auditorium that's ready to have a meeting in just like we're having tonight with chairs and all, the double-wide mobile home, plenty of landscaped, beautiful outdoor space, which could be there for future additions. So one of the things I've heard is that it's not downtown. Well, I don't have a problem with that because we're moving that way, so to speak. The town already owns some property for the Public Works Department. Evidently, DOT is willing to consider putting in a road that from the industrial park that the town owns to this property, and that could maybe spawn some further development along that road. The junction is there. New apartments will be there one day. There's just lots of potential growth out that way and lots of land that's available. So as a longtime citizen of Nashville, I want to say, please do not let this opportunity pass us by. Is that me?
Thank you. Yes. The next person is James Baker.
Hi, Mayor and Council. I want to bring up about the church purpose, the church purposing. It all sounds real great, but at the end of the day, we taxpayers are going to have to really dig deep into our pockets. And well, why couldn't this have really waited till we got this new tax revaluation on our property? Because there's a lot of folks out here that is hurting. I hear from them all. They're living from paycheck to paycheck. It all sounds good. But at the end of the day, we're going to have to dig deep in our pockets. And I want to know, on an average, how much are we probably expecting for like people's escrow accounts are going to be debited? And at the end of the day, we all have to live in our means. And like I said, and then you're talking about the nice gymnasium. We just purchased the dry cleaners. Why would we have the dry cleaners? And then now we're talking about having a gymnasium out there. But we're only in a town of about 5,600? And, you know, we're not really like Wilson and Rocky Mount where we have that tax base where we can draw from, because there's only like 5,600 of us where they can draw from 50,000. And I just really think that this is going to put a real hardship on a lot of people that are right now. And we all know inflation, and that's not a secret. It is eating us up. And I just want y'all to consider there's going to be a lot of folks out there that this is really going to hit them hard. And I just want y'all to think about both sides of it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And that's the last person that signed up for public comments. I did receive this letter and to read that I'm going to read. She wanted to be here, but she was out of town. Dear Mayor Brown and council members, I would have liked to speak at public comment tonight, but am out of town. So I hope this letter will be read at the meeting regarding the town purchasing the fellowship church property. As a former council member, I still have a keen interest in the future of the town. Wanting to see us move forward with an eye for the future, I am in support of the purchase of the property. The purchase would secure for the town the facility and space to ensure Nashville is prepared for the growth that is coming. The town will gain a more than ample facility for town staff now and future, as well as gaining space for an on-site council chamber and providing potential space for a community center for residents. The gymnasium space provides room to further expand the town's recreation program, which has proven to be highly demanded and used. The locality should not be a concern, as the southern side of the town is largely where growth is occurring. The cost of pursuing the church property as opposed to building a new town hall provides savings by not having to acquire additional property and go through an extensive bid process, as construction costs will only increase over time. Leveraging the initial purchase over 3 years is a sound approach to gaining valuable property and room for future expansion. The Body Street property is not ideal, as Body Street remains one of the town's primary historically residential streets. There are possible grant funds to be pursued for the remodeling, and grant dollars could become available for water sewer if improvements are needed. And this is from former council member Lynn Hobbs. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is a proclamation, and I will read that at this time. High-quality summer learning and enrichment opportunities are important to continue the town of Nashville equitable recovery and address learning loss. Across the country, summer programs are adapting and innovating to ensure children and their families can assess quality summer learning opportunities, supports, and services no matter where they are. Whereas National Summer Learning Week is a time to reflect on the importance of keeping young people learning safe and healthy every summer, ensuring they return to school ready to succeed in the year ahead. And whereas during the summer months and school breaks, children can lose what they've learned, and students who lose ground in one summer are more likely to also lose ground in subsequent summers, which can add up. And whereas third grade reading scores can predict academic achievement, less than 1/2 of North Carolina fourth graders were reading on grade level in 2022. Disaggregating data shows wide disparities by race, and whereas parents can help prevent learning loss by reading with their children and encourage them to read independently throughout school breaks, and whereas summer learning programs are proven to maintain and advance students' academic and social emotional growth, keep children safe and healthy during the summer, and send children back to school ready to learn. And whereas public agencies, community and faith-based organizations, schools, libraries, museums, recreation centers, camps, and businesses in North Carolina contribute to the well-being of youth through summer programs and offer a trusted role in the education and well-being of our children. And whereas there is a role for summer youth employment programs to engage older youth with the support of business and community leaders, our youth can learn, gain real-world experience, contribute to their community and economy, and experience safer environments through summer jobs, internships, mentoring, and or volunteer opportunities. And whereas joyful summer learning experiences are a critical component of our collective effort to ensure America's educational recovery, all students are ready for school and ready on grade level by the end of third grade, and that all students heal, grow, and thrive. And whereas the town of Nashville encourages all students, parents, and caregivers and people to champion summer learning to support academic achievement for every child in our state. Now therefore, I, Brenda Brown, Mayor of the Town of Nashville, do hereby proclaim July the 15th through the 19th, 2024 as Summer Learning Week in Nashville, and do encourage all of our residents to participate in this observation. At this time, I'd like for Viola Barnes Gray and Deborah Lanham to come forward to receive this proclamation. Thank you for all your efforts that you put forth in helping all the children in our county and around to value reading and encourage citizens to also help our youth. Thank you so very much. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Good to see you. The next item on our agenda is Fellowship Church Purpose and Purchase, and I'll turn that over to Mr. Lansing.
Thank you, Mayor. So the town's $1,500,000 purchase agreement for the Fellowship Church at 969 White Oak Drive has a 90-day due diligence period, which is up July 23rd, for the town to have the condition of the buildings as well as the septic checked out, as well as obtain a professional opinion on the likely cost of remodeling the building to house the town hall, the town council chambers, and Parks and Rec. We hired Dawson Construction Services to give the town the overview analysis on the condition of the buildings that also include the likely cost of remodeling the buildings for these uses, both of which are in the attached overview analysis report that was in the packet. Dawson's projected cost of fixing and repairing and remodeling the Fellowship Church with 23 offices, a full gymnasium for use as town hall, and a town council chambers, and for Park and Rec is $1,899,162. The cost of the purchase of the property is $1,500,000. Combined, it's $3,399,162. Also attached to the is the manager's cost estimate of building a new town hall, 9,000 square foot in size with 20 offices on the lots behind the current town hall. 2 of those lots are owned by the town presently, and one in between would have to be purchased. That'd be 502 South Body, in order to have enough room to build that 9,000 square foot building. Based on the cost estimate of what we're building our Fire Station 2 for presently, the square foot cost of that construction is $490 per square foot. The town would, this new town hall would not include a town council meeting chambers or gymnasium for Parks and Rec. Looking at the workload of our current town staff, Trey Sanders, our HR director, says that within the next year to a year and a half, we will need additional employees in the finance department, an additional employee in the planning department, and a shared administrative assistant between the town clerk, the HR director, and the town manager. And there is only one available office in the town hall right now. So also took time to update the PowerPoint presentation that was given at the public hearing we had a while back on the purchase of this property. And I'd like to go through it quickly, just to point out a few things. So it says the address is, actually the property has 2 addresses, one for the church and then one for the parsonage. The 981 is the parsonage. The church is actually 969. But what we had talked about at the public hearing on this purchase, that the Fellowship Church has proposed to sell the property to the town of Nashville. The town has evaluated the property and believes it would it could serve both the current needs of Parks and Rec Department and the future needs of Town Hall. We have projected growth coming to our town with a recent approval of residential developments and subdivision. The town foresees an increase in the demand for services and staff across the various departments. Benefits of the acquisition: the purchase of the Fellowship Church property would provide additional office space, storage space, enable better resource utilization and departmental relocations. It would provide for enhanced facilities. The property offer ample space and amenities, including a gymnasium, parking suitable for expanding park, and space suitable for expanding park and rec activities with the gym. The cost considerations: the remodeling of the church may incur, but is not a more expensive option than building new facilities. And the financial planning: the proposed payment schedule. The church has extended a 3-year purchase contract of $500,000 a year for 3 years at simple 5% interest, which after we make the first payment, the following two will have a total of about $75,000 in interest on the money that the payments that they're giving us in contract. So the acquisition aligns with the town's mission of providing cost-effective public services and several of the goals outlined in the 2022 Recreational Master Plan to address the community needs. So one thing I wanted to point out: this property is 5.5 acres in size. It's 22,000 square feet in size. It includes 2 sanctuaries, a gymnasium, presently 14 office or classrooms, which could easily be converted or reused with offices. And then it's got an entire second floor upstairs, which is 3,400 square feet. It's got a 180 lot parking lot. The purchase price, as we mentioned before, is $1.5 million, the 3-year contract. The remodeling costs: Dawson Construction Services laid out a reuse of a remodeling of that space, and says it will be in the range of $1,899,162. We got an extra zero there. That would get us 23 offices, the gym, the council chambers, and the total price of the acquisition and the remodeling, as was mentioned before, $3,399,162. So what we could do if we make this purchase, we can move there in stages. With the acquisition of the property, the immediate cost and use, what we could do right from the beginning, once we get possession, is use the gymnasium for park and rec. And what that would cost us: there'd be a change of use permit with Nash County for $55. There's a roof repair that's being recommended by Dawson of $249,200. There's a brace over one of the doorways that have been put in the gym that needs to be redone, $3,000, and then just some miscellaneous items in the report, mostly leaky faucets, things like that, for another $2,400. So immediately we could get in there. The cost would be $254,655, and 98% of that is on the roof repair. Moving in Town Hall into there on the first floor without remodeling, which is an option. We have the gym use. Again, we have that use permit fee of $55, the roof repair, the bracing of the gym door, the miscellaneous. Then there's a fire suppression that has to be checked out. The building, as we understand from the Dawson report, does not need a sprinkler system. There are 3 separate buildings, and they have firewalls between all of them. We just need the building inspector to come and verify that. And once that's in place or verified, we're good to go. But there's also a change of use permit that we'll have to pursue, and Dawson has that in at a $10,000 cost. So to use the first floor without any remodeling would cost us $295,655, and that would include 12 offices and the council chambers and obviously the gymnasium. First and second floor remodeling costs, again, according to the Dawson report, the roof again at $249. The first floor remodeling was $489,719. The gym was another $291,719. Now keep in mind, we can use the gym just the way it is. This was to build another covered area over one of its entrances so that the use of the gym wouldn't require everybody to go through the town hall and down the main hallway in the building to get to the gym. They could come from the parking lot directly into the gym, past the reception office area of Park and Rec. And then the council chambers, putting restrooms in the back end of that, so we would have adequate restrooms and capacity for 100 or 80 people in there easily, plus the DIOS for the council. The remodeling on that was $317,569. So a total to remodel the first floor, the gym, and the sanctuary into the council chambers, $1,348,246. And then the second floor remodeling, that would get us another 12 offices upstairs, plus a conference room, additional restrooms, and additional storage. They estimate that at $550,358. So that's where Dawson came up with a $1,898,064 for remodeling the facility to house Town Hall, Park and Rec, and the council chambers. So compare and contrast, took a look at the vacant lot behind Town Hall, which by itself is not large enough to put a 20-office town hall on. If we're gonna build a new facility, I recommend we build it large enough so it suits our needs well into the future, a good 20 years, 25 years. It was one of the drawbacks with our current facility. I mean, it was literally full the day we moved in. That construction cost, again, using our Fire Station 2 at its $490 per square foot cost would be $4,410,000. Like I said, we needed to acquire additional property off Body Street in order to do that. I'm throwing numbers in here for the land acquisition of $250,000 to buy that house, and then some surveying and legal costs for another $2,500. So my rough calculation for building a new town hall on the back lot, $4,700,000. And that option doesn't give us new council chambers, it doesn't get us a gym for Parks and Rec, and it doesn't move us out of this facility for council meetings, for the library to move in here to have this space available for expansion. There's another option, which I talked with Ann Collier with Oakley Collier Architects. They designed and built the current town hall we're in. It is expandable with a small 3-office addition onto its north end through our planning department. We would probably lose our driveway on that side of the building if we did that. I'm not sure how that was all planned to happen, but she said we could also put an addition onto the back of the building and essentially make it bigger. A 4,800 square foot addition would give us 10 more offices. We have 10 in there now. That would give us the 20. But we would lose the current rear parking lot, and we would have to build additional on the vacant lot we own off Body Street. Again, that option doesn't give us the new council chambers. It doesn't give us a gym for Parks and Rec. It doesn't give the library any place to expand. And the idea of a new town hall somewhere else, either brand new or the Fellowship Church, we would vacate where we are. That would allow the police department to move out of the police and fire station next door, have their own space in the old town council, in the old town hall, and allow the fire department then to have the rest of the police fire station building at 501 Barn Street. So those are the options to compare and contrast. I don't know of any other available land in town hall or in town limits right now. I'm sure, given time, we could probably find some, but again, we'd have acquisition costs of the land. We would need almost 2 to 3 acres in order to have enough room to build a facility large enough to house everything. Continue on the use of the property and the future expansions of other departments. I kind of went over those already in what I just gave. The projected future employment, we had asked at budget time for our HR director to forecast what we're going to need as far as additional staff at Town Hall based upon the subdivisions that we've already approved. Cardinal Woods, Breedlove, if the development on the golf course continues, the Bradford Place subdivision behind the Food Lion. So The ones with the asterisks behind them, there are 9 additional offices needed in the next 3 to 5 years. In the next 1 to a year and a half, we'd need 3 more: the planner, the accounting technician, and then the administrative assistant for the town clerk, HR director, and the town manager. Again, pros and cons of purchasing the property. The upfront purchase cost of the property is a significant financial investment for the town. Fortunately, with the church offering terms on a contract at 5%, we don't have to go out and borrow this money. We can use $500,000 of fund balance each year for 3 years to make that purchase, and it's not going to deplete our fund balance significantly doing that, which is kind of the beauty of it. There's also the upfit costs. We got the report from Dawson to totally remodel that facility and make it usable for Park Rec, Town Hall, and Council is $1,800,000. And we would have to come up with that money. The mayor's made extensive efforts to reach out to funding sources, and we have several identified that on the next slide I'll go into, next couple slides probably. Another one of the drawbacks is, it's currently not on town water or sewer. It does have a septic system. That system has a capacity of 1,800 gallons per day. We don't have confirmation back from Nash County Environmental Health at this point if our projected use per the Dawson plan is going to require an expansion of the drain field on that septic system. What they did tell us is that for each office, figure 25 gallons a day. So at 27 offices, that's 675 gallons. It's 1,800 gallon capacity. That leaves us 1,125 gallons of capacity left over. Don't know what our council chambers capacity will be of that 1,125 that's available, or our gym use. But we're going to have that information before the end of the week, hopefully. Another one of the cons is the distance from the current town hall. The property is located 0.59 miles from town limits, potentially affecting access and service provision. And it's off the beaten path for persons for utility payments. However, the town currently offers several bill pay method options: online payments, bank pay, auto draft, and credit card. Just want to summarize once again the advantages of this property. It meets current needs of the town and the projected future growth. The acquisition of the property addresses immediate needs and provides flexibility for future expansion and ensuring long-term viability. It saves the taxpayer money by avoiding new construction. Purchasing existing property eliminates the needs for costly construction project. Eliminated estimated cost of the new facility. The building and the facility is projected, when we put this together, was projected at 11 million. That was for a similar size footprint, 22,000 square feet at the $490 per square foot was 11 million, or is $11 million, making the acquisition a cost-effective alternative. It avoids land purchase and acquisition. Acquiring the property eliminates the need to purchase additional land, streamlining the process and reducing associated costs. And larger, more versatile town council chambers with ample space available, and property allows for creation of a larger, more versatile town council chambers, and accommodates additional community needs. So the funding sources that we were able to identify, we already know we're eligible and we can apply for USDA Community Facilities Fund through the USDA. Those typically are loans and grants. When we looked into them in the past, we weren't eligible for all loan or all grant money. It was a combination of loans and grants through that particular program. There's also the CDBG Community Facilities Program. That is a competitive one. when its application cycle comes around, you compete with others for the same money. There's Part F funds, Parks and Recreation Trust Fund for dealing with the remodeling and the upfits for the gym. And then, of course, never rule out a federal state earmark from one of our state legislators or federal legislators. We've been successful on those in the past. We've gotten a $1.3 million earmark from Congressman Don Davis, his predecessor, for the fire station, and we got one from Don Davis for the Essex Road and Regency Estates sewer extension project. So we've been successful with those. That's the end of the slideshow. We do have Scott Garner with Dawson Construction Services here with us this evening. He gave us the report last Wednesday at a special meeting that we had set up for the council to receive that report. You've had it in your possession for a week, so hopefully you've had time to go through that. He's here this evening to answer any questions you may have on the cost estimate and the reuse and the remodeling of that property.
Xavier, do you have any questions?
Mayor
For
Brown?
him?
No.
Okay.
No, I think his report was pretty thorough. I've had an opportunity to go through the building twice, and so based off of his report, I was able to kind of know what I was looking at, and I'm okay with what he has shared with us as from an expert perspective on what it would cost to upfit that building.
Okay,
I'm in the same boat.
Larry? Do you have
Yep.
any questions for him?
No, I don't have any questions for
Okay.
him, no.
Do you have any questions? Okay. So, what is the desire of the council?
Mayor, nobody wants to speak, so I guess I'll be the one to stick my head out first.
We're just taking a vote now. We already know how people feel. We just need to take a vote on whether we want to purchase this property or what we want to do.
Okay, and we'll take a vote.
Well, it's my understanding that we could potentially, I'd like to have an answer on one last question, which was to the county, to see if any of our intended uses would trigger the need to increase the septic area, because I think that's what would be a little bit larger of an expense upfront. So I was hoping to get that answer before making a decision. And it's my understanding that we can wait for that answer.
We can wait for it. So would you like to make a motion that we wait until we have that information? And
I would like to make that motion.
I'd like to adjust it if possible.
Sure.
I agree with what you're saying, but if we find out there's more, then I want us to hire a soil scientist to evaluate it further if we find out we need more. If we're okay with where we are, then that's the answer. But if we find out there's other issues, then that's the other, my understanding from Scott, that's the next thing, is to get a soil scientist to tell us more.
I'm sorry, Mayor, may I speak?
yes.
Is that something that the county can give us answers to as well, as far as whether there is,
They could help us with that. I think if later this week, based upon the projected use that we've given to Nash County Environmental, they're gonna review this with the State Health Department to make sure that the wastewater uses for the council chambers and the gymnasium are within the capacity of that system. So I'm hoping we will know before the end of the week. If we know that it is not, I can certainly reach out to a soil science individual, and, hopefully by July 30th, have a report turned around, what we need to do to get the capacity, if additional capacity is needed, on that septic system for our ultimate use. Now again, our use of that property at this point is not envisioned to remodel and move in immediately. It's to, as we I'm looking at a 3 to 5 year time period to, if you go ahead and okay the purchase of this church, to find the money, hopefully in grants and low interest loans, to do the upfit, to do the remodeling, and actually move out there. So it gives us time on that septic system. But I think within that 2-week period, if the church is willing to grant an extension on the decision of the purchase till July 30th, we can get the soil scientists, if we need to, on site and have that information and that dollar amount known by that July 30th meeting.
May I speak, Mayor?
Yes.
So my biggest concern is that we have to put water and sewer out there immediately, sewers for sure, at a high cost. And so I know that's eventually what we'll have to do 3 to 5 years, 10 years down the road, we have to do that. But hopefully by then we can have some other development to go with that, where if we can keep the septic that's fine there for now, then that would save us cost and make the decision easier, is my understanding, is my feeling.
Mayor,
Yes.
we're looking at a 47-year-old building. Every time, and he just brought up a good point, and Kate brought up a good point, every time we turn a page, there's another expense that we've got to incur. It keeps going up, keeps going up, keeps going up. I mean, the AC units out there, within the next 2 to 4 years, we're probably going to have to replace every last one of them, and we're looking at, I think, 19 units. The septic and sewer is going to be astronomical cost if we do have to end up doing it. Water connections line, the gym has to be up, the gym as well as the rest of the church has to be upfitted because there's nowhere to sit in that gym. So we got to do that. Plus we got to put an employee to stay out there. And one of my major hangups, and it is a major hangup, is the location. A lot of people say the location doesn't mean anything, but it does. I see in my head our young teenagers going out there to use that gym. Everybody knows how curvy that road is. And I would not be able to sleep at night if one of our kids would be struck going out there. So the solution to solve that is to put a walkway. Well, how much, that's another expense that we open for. How much is it gonna cost us to put a walkway to go out there? It's just so many, every page I turn, I see an expense. I've gone through the church also, and yes, it does have a great auditorium where we can have our, not auditorium, but chapel, where we can have our meetings without our pole in the middle of everything. It's ideal for that. There are plenty of office spaces. We've got more offices than we'll ever use. People talking about the 100 and some parking spaces. What the heck do we need 100 and some parking spaces for at a town hall? That's I mean, it's overkill. There's a lot of stuff out there that we have not uncovered yet, and I have not turned the page yet where I can say, ooh, well, that's a great savings right there. Yes, it was a great deal if what we're buying it for. That's a great deal if you look strictly at the money. A good deal may be a good deal for you, but it's not a good deal for the town and what we need. That's my take on it. The DOT road, we've been talking about the DOT road ever since I've been on the council. I'm working on 16 years. I ain't seen no dirt turn yet. DOT moves mighty slow. Parking lot, sitting in the gym, septic tanks, the roof. We know we got to work on that roof. I mean, the Dawson and company has already showed us where we probably need to spend $250,000 right off the bat to get that roof redone. And there's a lot of other miscellaneous. And when you look at miscellaneous stuff, miscellaneous can be anything, and anything can cost anything, from $5 to $500 or $5,000. It's just too many. I'm running across too many unknowns for this piece of property. Is a great deal for us at the time we need it. Yes, we do need more. We need more space. But is this our answer? I believe it's not.
Okay, we have a motion from Kate that we wait a couple of weeks until we get the report to make a final decision. Is
Mayor, may I
yes,
say that?
yes.
as it relates to our delaying based off of this information, the church has given us approximately 90 days for due diligence. I believe that with the information that we do have now as of last Wednesday, with the upfits from Dawson's company, and with the proposed phasing in that the town manager Randy is speaking of, I feel that if we keep announcing to the general public that we're going to have this meeting for up or down vote, we should have that up or down vote. And I think that tonight just might be that night that we need to do it versus kicking the can down the road. Now, that's where I am with it. It's a tough decision because I understand the needs of the town. The town needs more space. I understand that. That's a grave concern. But I think we may need to go ahead on and vote tonight.
Kate, what are your thoughts?
I still think I would like to wait the 2 weeks. I think the public has had ample time to come and speak. It gives them 2 more weeks to come and speak, to give their views. I think it's very generous that we're getting the 2 more weeks to do this. For me, this is the final unknown. This is the final puzzle piece that I don't know what the answer is. I think we've done a very detailed job, a very thorough job, where we can look through here and practically project what it will cost year 1, 2, 3, 5, 10. I think if we're looking at new construction, we are definitely going to be spending more. So I would prefer to wait the 2 weeks just to uncover this last unknown, and I would prefer to make my decision then.
What about
I
you?
agree with Kate. That we have a septic system is a very big cost, and we need to know the answer before I can have a good vote on it. And it's just 2 weeks. I mean, it's not 2 years. It's 2 weeks,
Larry,
and it gives people no chance to come talk to us.
are you willing to wait 2 weeks, or do you think we need to?
No, I think we've told the public we're gonna vote tonight. I think we need to vote. I mean, we've had this thing for 90 days, moving it around. And if after the 2 weeks, the report comes in about the septic system, and we don't have our answers in front of us of what we want, what we're gonna do, kick it another 2 weeks down the road?
No, the 2 weeks is it.
No,
That's all
that's
we've
the answer
got.
we need. That's
But
the
we've
last
done that.
piece of
But
information.
we've done that. How many more times are we gonna do it?
We don't have the
We
answers.
don't have the answer on the septic.
Okay, I'm gonna, Raz, our legal, how do we handle this?
Well, I've made the
correct way?
motion, Bill seconded the motion, so now we can see if it stands.
Let's call for the vote.
So,
Depending, Mayor, members of the council, depending upon the vote, I have sort of a follow-up suggestion in terms of how to address the legal contract that the town is under now, the deadlines and the timeline under that contract, and how I would suggest that you modify the contract in order to sort of put it in the form of an amendment with the church for an additional number of days, allowing until the end of this month, July 30th, to make the final decision. So but Ms. Burns is correct. I think there's a motion on the floor that properly call for a vote on that.
so it would be 2 weeks, and we'd meet again and make the final vote.
On the 30th.
Is that okay?
Not to be too picky, but it really is only 9 days. The actual end of the examination period under the contract is July 21.
So we have to make a
So
motion
it would be an
to-
extension, I mean, and that,
To
end of the examination
contract.
period is the window of time the town would have to decide not to close on the purchase of the property. So 9 days would take.
We'll
you
make it
to-
10, make it 31st, since our meeting's the 30th. We make the 31st.
Oh,
Well, he's talking about the
Right.
23rd when
Right.
the original due diligence period ends, correct?
July
Or
21st. Yes.
So we need to extend, I need to make a motion to extend the due diligence period.
Well, I think the general motion to just request more time is probably appropriate. And then I'm going to suggest how to codify
Accomplish that.
that in the form of a contract amendment that we would propose to the prospective seller, to the owner of the property.
Mayor, may I ask you one more time,
Yes.
please? I'm hearing what everybody's saying, but I was anticipating a vote tonight. We're moving it, we're looking at, talking about moving it to July 30th. This is a very important vote, and I think every council member should be on board at this meeting on July 30th. But I'll be in Illinois on July 30th. I won't be here. I think every council member should be on board.
When do you leave for Illinois?
That Sunday prior to
28th?
28.
20 days takes you to
So,
August the 12th. If he said he'd give 20, that gives you a chance for a regular meeting.
see what he says.
By the end of this month.
So Raz, what do
Well,
we,
I'll try- go ahead, sir.
so do we need to just
Adjust the date.
adjust the date, like to maybe the 26th, even though that's a Friday? Because we do need all council members here.
My understanding is that the owners have agreed to an extension to the end of this month.
July 30th, but Larry's not going to be here
Right.
for that vote.
Do we, and you anticipate having the answer end of week, beginning of next week?
That's correct. And if the answer is yes, you do have to expand it, we're going to need time to get that soil scientist on site to evaluate and give the town a report and a cost estimate. Well, we already got the cost estimate from Dawson. They put in there a maximum of $300,000. So Scott can probably speak to that, but I'm sure you put that in the report because that's likely the most it would cost in order to have to expand on site the drain field for this septic system. And Scott, I don't know if you want to give a word of reassurance on that, since it was in your report. If you do, please come to the podium.
So my conversation with the septic company that did the report was, yes, that's typically, most it would be is that amount.
Okay.
I do want to say one other thing, and I said this, 2 weeks ago, but there are some soils on that site based on the GIS map that is not typically suitable for septic systems. So an expansion may be more difficult. So that's why
my
I
concern.
suggested then a soil scientist. So I do just want to bring that up.
So you think it would be on the higher end of that
I do believe
number
that.
amount if the septic needed to be expanded?
I do believe that, yes. But that's not my expertise. But that's my opinion.
Well, he's given us a 2-week extension. So if Larry's going to be gone, he will not be here to vote.
So if we can have it on the 26th, I'm good on the 26th.
Does everyone? Yes.
I noticed the quorum and
Yes. Can you come up to the,
I won't be at the 26th, by the way.
Let me ask you something. What's the high-end cost? What's the difference of that now? Is that appropriate? Can I ask that?
What the numbers were?
Yeah. What is the high-end, what is the difference? In other words, the gentleman just said, I don't know anything about building anything, but I just know he said, I think it's going to be on the high end.
300,000?
300,000. Okay. Can I say what I talked to you today?
You have the
Look,
floor.
300,000. If you'll vote for it tonight and you'll approve it, I'll give it to you tonight for 1.25 million. I've already talked with my board. That covers your difference right there. Is that something to think about? I've given you $250,000 off.
It is something to think about, and thank you so very much. So yes,
But that's if you do it
tonight, okay.
I do want to clarify that is if an expansion is possible. That's why I said
And that's why I'm
a
questioning.
soil scientist. I can't promise you that expansion is even possible. So I do want to clarify that.
I got that vibe from you. Thank you.
So, here we are. I agree with Xavier, and we've talked about this and talked about, we really do need to make a decision. And then Bill says he's not going to be here on the 26th. So,
Are you here on the 25th?
I'll be gone the whole week
The whole week?
on a mission trip.
I just think, I feel like we just need to go on and make a decision. because we will never get everybody together.
Well, Mayor, there's another option. Kate can modify her motion to include the findings somehow with Raz's help.
I don't understand
To
what you're
include the
saying.
findings, what do you mean?
So we vote if the findings are favorable, then we move forward, and if they're not favorable, I don't know what the answer is, but just,
Oh, like make a motion that I would move to approve the purchase if it comes back that none of our uses trigger the need for expansion.
correct. So that's an option.
Okay, do I hear, I guess we
Raz
just-
has his face all kind
I
of,
just guess we need to make a decision tonight, so do I hear a motion to buy it or to not buy it? We've got to decide.
I've,
Was there a vote on the motion that was on the table?
No,
No.
it was not.
Was that motion rescinded?
I'll rescind
It
because
needs to
if
be,
Larry's
because
not gonna be
he's
here.
and then he's not gonna be here, so we'll be here until December. So do I hear a motion?
Mayor Brown, if I may.
Certainly.
I have gone through the documents. I've talked to the constituents of our town, and while I do understand that there's a great need for our town, my motion is to not purchase the church based off of location and cost that I've heard from the constituents, which weighed in about 45 to 55% for me. 45 was for, 55% was not. And I do understand that I'm not voting for myself tonight. I vote for the constituents. And that's the only reason why I vote no. And so that is my vote on tonight, is a vote down. But it's based off the fact that I am cognizant of the fact that we've got to do something for the expanding of the town going forward with the comprehensive plan.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have, motion not to buy in the second. All those in favor of not buying the building, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
no.
So, Mayor, may I?
Yes, you may.
I too have spoken with people from the town, and I also hear the same thing about cost and about location. In my opinion, in looking at this and uncovering the unknowns, I do think this is going to be the cheaper option than building a new building. And my fear is we're going to get 3 years from now, we're going to say, okay, let's build the building that we need, and it's going to be $5 million. And we will be crucified for not having purchased this building. However, there has been a great amount of people that have come out and spoken against this and not wanting it. And those voices are just as loud as those who do want it. So in my personal opinion, I would absolutely purchase this property. I would move forward. I see great potential. I see the growth of our town moving in that direction. I don't think that there are so many unknowns now. I think that we do have more knowns, but this is a really hard one. I'm still very much on the fence as to,
Well, since we didn't get a quorum on that, did you put that in a form of a motion that we proceed to purchase it?
We already just voted not to purchase.
well, we
Right,
voted
and I'm
against
asking
that, so
is-
you don't have a quorum, so you have to break the tie, I guess, first. What are your
There's a
desires?
vote that you have to, there's a tie, so you have to take care of the vote.
Yeah, you got to take care of that.
Well, if I voted for it, I'd vote for purchasing it, because I see the need for it down the road. But we've got two other people.
Mayor, I want the citizens to know that I'm not voting for Larry. I'm voting for the phone calls that I've received today, last week, and since our last meeting. I'm voting for what the citizens have told me to do, and that's why I'm up here.
Well,
I'm not voting for me.
Larry, I'm doing basically the same thing, because I'm not gonna do anything to hurt anybody in this town. But I've had calls, and I was stood out there for a day while people came to visit, and I've heard people call me and say they're all for it. Now, the main concern is where it's located. but everybody feels like it's a real deal because they feel like if we wait, it's gonna be another fire station.
I agree.
And so many people have said if we bought Birchwood, this would not even be a problem. So do we want to keep repeating these? I woulda, shoulda, coulda, but I mean, I don't know.
Madam Mayor, I want to vote. I just want to have the last fact before I can vote. And I can't vote until I have that last fact, because it could be having to put in sewer from the town, which would be a lot of money, or it could be $300,000. We don't know. And I don't want to make up numbers. I can't vote in good conscience until I have that answer. So
Well,
until I
then
have
you-
that answer, I can't vote.
Well, then you'll just have to vote against it, I guess.
That's why I did it a minute ago, because I can't vote yet. I mean,
Mayor, just, if I may, just for clarification, and your clerk may want to chime in on this as well, but what I heard was that Ms. Burns withdrew her motion for an extension of time. Mr. Harrison spoke in terms of feeling there should be a vote, yes or no, on the purchase. There was a motion.
He made a motion.
Seconded.
And Larry seconded.
To not purchase the property. That was a 2-2 tie vote, and I believe you voted against that, or you indicated that you would be in
Right.
favor of purchasing. So I think right now you've got a motion not to purchase that has failed. And that's where you are. That's where you are procedurally at this moment.
I didn't hear you.
I think that's where you are procedurally at this moment. I think you have to consider what other options you may want to consider here. But if, at this point, the contract due diligence period expires by my count on July 21, and if there is, if the town chooses not to purchase the property, it needs to send written notice under the contract terms that it has decided, at the end of the examination period, that it has decided not to purchase the property. That doesn't preclude possible further negotiations or further steps being taken. It's just that you're now under contract. You have an option to walk away, and if you choose not to exercise the contract right to purchase at the contract price, you need to send a notice that you're not going to close.
And the
So
deadline for
no
that
action is tantamount to being bound by the contract to close. So you need to have an affirmative decision that the town will decide that it will not exercise its contract right to close, and the deadline for action on that is July 21. But like I say, asking for an extension of time, the owner has indicated that the church would be willing to allow some additional time. And again, I'm speaking in terms of the contract. This doesn't mean that there might further conversations with Pastor Johnson might lead you to a different place, but I'm speaking only in terms of the contract as it exists right now.
Madam Mayor, our meeting is August 6th. Why couldn't we move it to August 6th? I'll make that in the motion if I need to.
I think the pastor wants to speak.
Okay?
If you need that much time, I'm fine with that, but I do think that needs to be the very last time.
I mean, I'm okay with voting. I just want to make sure I have all the facts.
Okay, so, here we go round. Good gracious. So, do I hear a motion? He has been gracious enough to extend it to, what, August 6th?
August 6th is our meeting in August.
Now legally, do we have, since our contract runs out the 21st, our due diligence, isn't that right?
That's correct, Mayor. And I would just suggest that as part of that motion, you have staff authorized to draft a contract extending the examination period by until the 6th of August. In my calculations, that's 16 days from the 21st. And that would keep this, otherwise the contract terms are unchanged. And that would keep the window open under the contract for that additional period of time.
Do I hear a motion to include what he just said about waiting until August the 6th?
I make that motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
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 Nay.
And I'll vote aye, and then we'll meet then and settle it on August the 6th.
There you go.
Thank you kindly.
This is one of the toughest votes
It is
I've had
very
since
It
I've been
is.
on the
It
floor.
really is.
struggled
I don't
all
want
week.
anyone to think we're taking this lightly.
No. No.
A lot of pondering over it.
It is a
The
lot.
next item on our agenda is the public comment policy. Randy?
Thank you, Mayor. So, attached for review and discussion is the town's public comment policy, i.e. rules of decorum, with some changes proposed by the staff. As the policy said, the rules of decorum are to ensure the town's public meetings are conducted in a civil, productive, and effective, orderly manner, and staff believes that the proposed changes will facilitate these objectives. And attached is that policy. Lou, maybe I'll have you summarize what the changes are, since you and Trey worked on that. Page 76. Oh, I guess we have them here.
We do. Okay, so that I attached the current policy, and then, so we would cover the public hearing, a public comment period, the public hearing policy too, and then just rules of decorum, which I think, going back where my is more. So everything in red is the changes or just some rewording, because we had a lot of confusion at last couple of meetings that I felt like needed to be clarified with maybe a little bit, not tougher language, but more clear, maybe clarify some of the languages. So number 2, where it says a person wishes to address the council, the public comment period will register on a sign-up sheet located, it used to say here on the desk, now it's on the podium. Each speaker, on number 4, the change would be each speaker will be allowed to speak one time during the public comment period. So they can't sign multiple times. It's just a little clearer. Number 5, you had in there about a group having a representative. This one is just a little clearer. If a group wishes to speak, the group will be instructed by the presiding officer to designate a maximum of 2 spokespersons to speak on behalf of a group. A group is defined as more than 2 people in attendance wishing to address a similar topic. On number 7, it's all the same except for the mayor or presiding officer may, however, request the town manager's office to follow up with the speaker after the meeting to provide additional information to the council at a later time. Y'all do that as now. I've seen it a bunch of times where when we have some issues, the mayor will say, well, Randy, will you look into that? Number 9 is reworded. It's just a little more forceful, maybe, is the way to say it. Speakers shall be civil and courteous in their language and presentation at all times. Speakers are asked to refrain from personal attacks and or threats towards any council member, the mayor, city staff, and or members of the public. Vulgar and profane language or gestures will not be tolerated. So I've just reworded that to be a little tougher. Stern, like how Randy said. Number 10 is reworded. Speakers with handouts to share will bring 10 copies and give the copies to the clerk as they approach the podium. I've had a lot of times where someone wants to hand y'all something and I don't get a copy unless y'all hand it to me afterwards. Do not approach the council with the handouts. They need to give it to me first. And then totally adding to number 13, 14, and 15, the mayor or presiding officer has the authority to enforce the rules of decorum. Failure to obey these rules may result in a forfeiture of any remaining speaking time. Individuals who engage in egregious, thank you, or repeated violation may be asked to leave the meeting. That was something that was known, but it was never written down that I could find. The mayor or the presiding officer may remove any person from a meeting if the person is interrupting or disrupting the meeting. A person who, and this is law, a person who willfully interrupts, disturbs, or disrupts an official meeting, and who, upon being directed to leave the meeting by the presiding officer, who willfully refuses to leave the meeting, is guilty of a Class 2 misdemeanor. So if you have someone who is here who will not leave, after you've asked them to leave, repeatedly, because we're nice here in Nashville, and we would give someone multiple times, I know we would, can be charged with a Class 2 misdemeanor. So that's just, and then the whole, just a public hearing, just to cover some rules on that, is all in red. We didn't have that before, and it basically covers some of the other stuff. Basically the same things, just in the public hearing,
Yeah.
to what we can allow.
Having looked over this public comment policy, do I hear a motion to approve the proposed changes to the town's public comment policy, rules, and decorum?
So made.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
The next item on our agenda is surplus property.
Mayor and council, as you know, from time to time, we bring forth to the council a list of surplus property items that we no longer use for the council to consider disposal of per the state statute. So we have a list of them here this evening. If you want to go through them, we can. We have the Spartan Rescue Truck, which Chief Joyner we've had a contract with a company that specializes in listing and selling used trucks. And Chief, maybe you can give the council a recap of the last 6 or 8 months that they've had that.
We had it listed with Brindley Mountain, and they have had several different groups that have looked at it. So we wanted to put it on our program too now to try to see if we could go ahead and move that truck on out. So that's the reason why we have brought it. But
Okay.
we've had several folks that are interested, but a lot of folks want to drop their price down to pretty much give it to them. So.
Thank you.
So the 2005 Dodge Charger, which is a police car, and I think the note on that, it's got a bad engine and needs transmission work, body's in good shape. We got the 2016 Ford Taurus, same thing, the engine locked up. 2012 Ford Taurus, another police car, and that one runs and drives. It's got 130,000 miles on it. It's been retired. The 2012 Ford Taurus, another one, and that's same. It's got high miles on it, and it's been retired. We have a 2007 F-150 pickup, surplus. Not sure where we ever picked that one up, but, I guess it was the Department of Defense. One of them we got from the department. It's a nice looking truck, but it needs engine work. And that's why it's on the list. Then we have the semi-trailer lowboy.
Randy, where and why did we even acquire a low boy?
Again, that was Department of Defense military surplus, and it was one of those items, we don't pay anything for it. Our former police chief thought it would be helpful for the town to have that if we were to need and acquire other large Department of Defense vehicles that maybe needed some work and couldn't be driven from Virginia here. We could load them up with this and bring them here.
But we don't have anything to even hook this to.
We do not have a semi-tractor to
Maybe
pull
the
it.
water truck.
Yeah. Continue, Randy.
The hot water pressure washer and 400-gallon tank. Again, a DOD surplus item. Former police chief thought we could make use of. We've had it for well over a year, and it's not moved. The guys, it's large and cumbersome, and it's easier just to get out the pressure washer and take care of it that way, from what I saw. We have this 4x4 Chevy 7500 with a flatbed. Again, a DOJ. The comment on it, not useful purpose for pulling trailers. It's surplus, again, since we've got it, I don't think it's left the water tower lot. We have a military trailer with a Miller Trailblazer AC/DC welder and a 10,000 watt generator on it. And again, not in use by the police department. They're looking at getting rid of it. The high tactical wheel trailer vehicle. The high wheel tactical, when we As you know, we have one that we've totally repainted and we use. When we got this one, we bought two others, one for parts and another one that at the time the police department was looking at fixing up. Since we have the one usable one, they've determined they don't have a need for the other two. So they're on here for that. High-wheel tactical trailer, I think I already had that picture a little out of order. We got this Mud Hog pump, which is from Public Works. It's a diaphragm pump. The centrifugal pumps are much more efficient and much better and much easier to get primed and work. So this one doesn't get used anymore since we have the other ones. It's surplus. We have a Lincoln 225 amp welder. Its condition is really unknown. Nobody's used it in so long. I remember growing up on the farm and having one of these, which was 75 years old, and it welded as well as something fresh out of the store. But we don't use it. It's surplus. Zero turn mower. This one, from what the note says, has needs a new engine in it. The rest of the unit looks okay. We have this Trimble Nomad data collector, and we used to use it for reading water meters. We since have new generation technology and readers, so this one isn't used anymore. I have no idea who might be interested in that, but we put it on Gov Deals. Well, likely somebody will make a bid on it. We have this Titan 1800M striping machine, and I guess I don't know the story on this. I got Brian Grice, our interim Public Works Director, here this evening. If you guys would like an explanation on why this particular one, it says in the note, not used, and trying to free up space. And pour something or another, I can't quite read that word.
Sprayer works for other ones. Titan striking machine, not used. Discontinued, trying to free up space.
If council doesn't have any questions on it, we'll keep moving on. We also have this used Hardy rotary cutter, bush hog. It's well used, as the note said, no longer needed. We do have additional rotary cutters, and you know, we bought that mower that's on the articulated arm that hangs off the side of the tractor, and since we got that one, we don't use this one much. It's nice to have that mower off the side of the tractor so you don't have to get on the steep hillside and try and mow. You can sit on the top and just reach down and mow. We got an outside storage cabinet, been behind the town garage for a long time. Got a large steel barrel for waste oil, which we haven't used. We have some folding traffic stands, which are no longer used. My understanding is we have newer ones that are easier to set up and aren't as cumbersome to deploy as these. So that's why we're not using them anymore. And we have a small tool cart, it's a small Waterloo roll cart for sale, surplus. And then we have the old backhoe that we retired from the cemetery. The engine's got issues, possibly a cracked block, mixing oil and water, but it still runs and operates. Since we got the new backhoe at Public Works last year, the old one went up to the cemetery and this one's being retired.
Whew. Do I hear a motion?
Wait a minute, we got a big table.
Sean's got a table.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, that table, I didn't see that. All right, do I hear a motion to approve the resolution 2024 declaring various furniture, machinery, equipment, and vehicles as surplus and authorize their disposal?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
One thing to
Mayor.
note on the Department of Defense, it's in the rules when you accept that. You can dispose of it if you don't need it after a year, but the proceeds have to go to the police department. So Chief Joyner and Deputy Chief Boykin said whatever money they get, they will use in the police department to repair and maintain things.
Good. The next item on our agenda is the lead inventory principal forgiveness loan.
So I don't know if you recall, a while back, Mike Tolson with Matt Gain Associates was here, and You know, Lee Brown, when he was here, told us about the EPA rule that we have to inventory and get to the EPA a list of our likely lead water service lines in our system by the end of October. The state is helping out with small towns with some grant and low-interest loans to do that. It's somewhat unfortunate that this offer was made to us back in February. We didn't get the paperwork on it till later in June, and now we have to turn it around, but the deadline date hasn't been extended. So I don't see how we can use this money, since it is a forgivable loan. It is a loan. It requires us make an application to the LGC, which if I made the application in June, we wouldn't be on the agenda until September. Now it's likely October, which is the deadline date for having to have your inventory done. The silver lining in the dark cloud here is our former Public Works Director had our guys going out, doing spot checks of neighborhoods that we suspected the lead lines to be in to confirm. And if we were to hire a consultant with this money to help us do the same thing, that's all they would be doing is a representative sample in the neighborhoods that are likely. And we know which ones they are. They're the older neighborhoods. So I talked with our current Public Works Interim Director, Brian Grice. I got his name spelled wrong in here. Sorry about that, Brian. And Chad, our second in command in Public Works, and they're confident that they got well over half the inventory done, and 2 or 3 guys can wrap this thing up, and we can get our report done by October. So my recommendation is to thank NCDEQ for the offer for the forgivable loan and the loan, but to decline it, and we'll just do this on our own.
So do I hear a motion to decline the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality's funding offer for lead service line inventory, since we can do it here on our own and save money?
Motion made.
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
The last item on our agenda,
Before we move to the very last item, our new interim Public Works Director, I understand he's here. I haven't met him yet.
Oh,
yeah, he's
Would
sitting
he-
in the back.
Brian, please step forward and
Introduce
introduce
yourself.
yourself. He's been sitting back there by Coy, and Coy's been pumping him full of fear about addressing the council.
Good. We thank you for the job you're doing, and thank you for joining our team here at
So,
Nashville.
Brian, why don't you tell us where you come from and
I started my career in Lewisburg for the town about 12 years, and recently I was with Raleigh for 7 years, and now Nashville
Thank you so much.
you had a short stint in there with a
with contractors.
with a contractor and decided to come back to the municipal side.
Glad to have you.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Absolutely.
The last item, Randy.
So last on the agenda, you know, we're going to be making application for that rural economic downtown development grant to do Barn Street street improvements, and our MSD or our Downtown Strong has proposed acquiring a small piece of property by the fuel dock, which was like stranded land when Cross Street was, Western Avenue was realigned with Cross Street. Michael Hurt ended up with that property when he bought the junction, and we've been talking with Michael Hurt, or Hurt LLC, and he is willing to donate that small piece of property so that we can apply and receive grant funds to build some type of welcome monument and some type of a signage for our points of interest within Nashville. And we do have Michael here. He had submitted or given us a.
May I read the letter that he submitted to us?
Sure.
I thought this was very nice. It says, "Dear Mayor Brown and Town Council members, I'm the principal member of Hurt LLC, which owns a small parcel of land on the northwest corner of Barn Street and Weston Avenue in the town of Nashville. Please see the attached area photo showing its location." We all saw that. "In support of the town's efforts to make aesthetic improvements to Barn Street, I will donate the .156 acre parcel to the town of Nashville for the town to construct a monument-style welcome sign and signs directing the public to Nashville's places of interest downtown, the Nashville Junction, Farmers Market, the Charters for Freedom, provided the monument includes a plaque commemorating my late grandfather, Morris J. Hurt. If the council accepts this donation for the above purpose and commemoration, I will deed the property to the town of Nashville. Michael?
You know, it's just kind of part of, first of all, how y'all doing?
Good.
Randy, you need to move me up to the top of the list next time. It's been never a dull moment here in town. But
You well know.
I love y'all. No, I mean, it just kind of goes with what we've been talking about before. I mean, when we first bought the property, we talked about donating it to the town, and we're getting, you know, a lot closer to getting a CO on the building, thank God. And, you know, Randy reached out to me, and I felt like it was a good time to go ahead and do it. So, you know, my grandfather was important to me too. So, he's one of the reasons I'm doing what I'm doing today. So, you know, hopefully this will help inspire and do something special for the community, and we can put some kind of monument there to bring people in, and you know, Randy can try to get that grant that he's looking for, and we can do something special for the community.
Thank you so much. We appreciate all you do for our community, and we can't wait till you get.
We're in the short rows now.
I know.
They got
How
handrails
close are we?
going up.
How close are we?
We're about, I mean, we're looking to get a CO hopefully in the next 30 days.
Okay.
So, you know, we'll have the main corridors done, we'll have the bathrooms finished, and have all the life safety and everything done in the building so the main building can be used. And then we'll slowly and gradually start turning units over. So, we're really excited about it, and just
And
thankful.
so are we.
Well, we're just thankful that we were able to put this public-private partnership together. And like I told y'all when we first got started, I'm not gonna let you down. And, we're gonna keep driving that nail. So,
Thank you so much.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mike.
So do I hear a motion to approve Resolution 2024-25, accepting the donation of the .154 of land from Hurt LLC at the Barnes Street and Weston Avenue intersection?
So made.
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Mayor, if I may just add one thing about Michael's grandfather. We do have Hurt Court here in Nashville. It's right across from the entrance to the middle school. And that is a development that Michael's grandfather did here in Nashville.
I didn't know that.
I always
know
thought
that
it was
either.
Michael.
Maybe that's what that map is.
There you go.
Well, if there are no other items on our agenda, Mr. Lanson, do you have anything else to say?
I do not, Mayor, thank you.
Xavier?
I do not. It was a tough decision for me, but like I said, as it relates to the project going forward with the town, for the church purchase or whether not. But in taking everything into consideration, I felt like at this particular time, that was the motion that I needed to make. And so that's where we are, but I am cognizant, as I aforementioned, that if the town is running out of space, and I do believe that it is, that something will have to be done in terms of a comprehensive plan going forward that the citizens and the council can both agree on and move forward with.
Kate, do you have anything to say?
No further comments tonight.
Do you have anything to say?
This has been the toughest decision I've had to make since
I
I've been on
know.
the council, and I don't want to miss the rain, so let's.
Bill, do you have anything to say?
Just real quick, I don't take it lightly, and it's an important decision, and that's why I didn't want to vote tonight.
Do I hear a motion for the meeting
Being
to
no
adjourn?
further business, I move we adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
The meeting is adjourned.